You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Ria Tanwatco Trillo. Our source today, the lawyer of the Degamo family and some of the victims of the 2019 killings in Negros Oriental, Attorney Levi Baligod. Attorney, good morning. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, ma'am, and thank you for having me.
So, sir, first let me ask you, what was the reaction of the family on the House's decision to suspend Negros Oriental Representative Arnolfo Teves?
Ma'am, the family is not involved in the ethics case that was decided yesterday by the House of Representatives. So they do not have any comment on that. Nevertheless, the family expressed its willingness to file another ethics complaint of their own with the end in view of expelling Congressman Teves from the House of Representatives for his violation of the specific provision of the Constitution.
All right. So basically, on the part of the family, 60 days is not enough, and you do plan to appeal for tougher sanctions. Specifically, you said expulsion from the lower house. How do you plan to do this, sir? What is the legal process for making that happen?
So we will file our own ethics complaint with the House of Representatives, and the ultimate issue there is his direct or indirect financial interest on a special privilege or franchise granted by the House of Representatives. Under the Constitution, specifically Section 14 of Article 6, there is a perpetual prohibition for members of Congress to have financial interest over any contract with, franchise, or special privilege granted by the government or any of its subdivisions, instrumentalities, agencies, or even government-owned or controlled corporations. Now, Congressman Teves himself and also his lawyer admitted that Congressman Teves operated e-sabong before and also operated the small town lottery in his province. And those are prohibited transactions under the Constitution. And that is our principal ground to seek his expulsion from the House of Representatives.
All right. When do you plan to do this, sir?
Early next week, ma'am, to do that. But some of the local executives, the chief local executives in the province of Negros are in the province, but some are in Metro Manila. But the documents are en route to them for their signatures.
I see. Okay, so documents are en route to the members of the LGU. Now, Attorney, you filed murder charges against Congressman Teves for the killing of 4 individuals back in 2019. Are you also planning to file cases to Congressman Teves in relation to the murder of Governor Roel Degamo?
Complaints were already filed with the Department of Justice, ma'am, with respect to some of the killings in 2019. And we intend to file more because in my own record, there were 12 murders in that place where some of the witnesses point to a common mastermind.
All right, sir. Now, you have 10 suspects on the killing of Governor Degamo now in government custody. DILG Secretary Benher Abalos said that this new batch of suspects have a direct hand in the killing. Would you know, sir, would you be able to tell us if they also complement or corroborate the testimonies of the other suspects in terms of motive and mastermind?
So far as I know, ma'am, the 9 former soldiers who are now in the custody of the NBI were interviewed prior to their turnover. And they already expressed willingness to cooperate with the government. And one of the 9 specifically mentioned that he was able to talk with the mastermind. In fact, he frequented the house of the mastermind, and we even have pictures of him inside the house of the mastermind. And the Department of Justice now are processing their statements with the end in view of coming up with their sworn statements. And I defer to the Secretary of Justice, Secretary Crispin Remulla, to make the proper and timely declaration to the public about the final outcome of this process.
All right, sir. Now, on the side of the Degamo family, who you represent, what do they feel is the biggest motive in the killing of the governor?
Ma'am, so many other things, but one prominent motive is politics. Perhaps egos were hurt when his brother Henry Teves was unseated by the Commission on Elections, and Governor Degamo was installed as the lawful and rightful elected governor of the province of Negros Oriental.
Sir, do you have your own witnesses that can or would also link Congressman Teves to the murder case?
All our some of our own witnesses were already endorsed to the proper authorities, while some are still in our own safe houses, ma'am, for their own safety. And we cannot yet divulge their identities because we are yet in the process of providing security to their respective families.
All right, sir, I understand. Now, on the part of Congressman Teves, he says that he is likely to grant the appeal of President Bongbong Marcos for him to come home. But he also wants an audience with the president. Does your camp see this as possible special treatment being given to Congressman Teves?
Not at all, ma'am, but perhaps the widow of Governor Degamo would want to seek an audience with the president. But for now, I think the effort of the president is enough. He had created a task force Degamo or task force Negros Oriental massacre, and no less than the Secretary of Interior and Local Government, as well as the Secretary of Department of Justice, the Secretary of or the Acting Secretary of the National Defense, as well as the heads of the PNP and the AFP are members of that national task force. I think that is enough effort, more than enough effort actually. And the family of slain Governor Degamo is very grateful to the decisive and even strategic response of the government, of the national government, to address this incident. There was an effort by some interested parties in the PNP organization to derail the investigation of this Negros Oriental massacre. If you will remember, ma'am, the PNP Special Investigation Task Group Commander, Colonel Hansel Marantan, was unceremoniously relieved from his post for his alleged participation in a supposed hulidap, which turned out to be just a concoction of an officer, a high officer in the Philippine National Police, who would want to advance his own personal interest in his career, and as well as an agent of those suspected to be masterminds in this case to sideline or even neutralize Colonel Hansel Marantan. And I am privy to the efforts of Colonel Hansel Marantan in the investigation of this case. And I know that the informants in Negros Oriental had given him their trust. That is why there were so many informations coming in and even who owns that pickup vehicle, who owns the vehicles used in the Degamo or the massacre, were identified. We know their locations, and even other vehicles, ma'am. There are not only 3 vehicles involved. There were other vehicles, and we already located their whereabouts, the vehicles, as well as other firearms, based on the information or help of the community given to Colonel Hansel Maranta.
All right, sir. I'm afraid that is all we have time for, but thank you for sharing all your information with us. That was Degamo family lawyer, Attorney Levi Baligod. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Ria Tanwat Cotrillo. You're watching CNN Philippines.